Hi there. My name is Avil Beckford. I just started a new series called The One Problem. My guests come on, they present one problem, not all of the problems, just one, and they have about 5 to 10 minutes to present the problem and also to present a solution. The whole idea for the series is that we learn from one another. Now, my special guest today, I've known her for about 15 years. Time flies. Her name is Anthea Rossouw. She is the founder and program leader for Dreamcatcher South Africa, and she is a social change management specialist. Anthea, I turn it over to you.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much for the opportunity. I'll jump right in. I was born and raised in South Africa during the times of apartheid. Raised in a multicultural household, my father speaking Xhosa, one of the indigenous languages which Nelson Mandela spoke, and we did, before we spoke the languages where my dad actually was headhunted to go and work. When I landed there, I was studying and I found it very difficult because I'd grown up multiculturally and that province was extremely leaned itself towards white domination. It was during the apartheid times, and there was a whole situation where there was total exclusion for all Black cultures. For me, that was as strange because I was raised completely multiculturally until I was a young girl. So I landed there, and when I studied, I thought that I would actually go and I would address that barrier when I had the opportunity. Nelson Mandela, a wonderful Madiba, when he came out of prison, he asked all South Africans to work together to make it a better life for all in South Africa. I took that literally and figuratively because it had been a problem to me all the time studying and at university and all which I was running into in this province. So because of that, I chose to delve directly into social change management. At that point, it was very, very nondescript. There was no need for social change because it had been legitimized in law, the segregation. So when Nelson Mandela said we must work to make it better for everybody, he actually meant leave no one behind. I found it extremely difficult to actually penetrate this society, which I now, as an adult woman, had to do. And because of all these laws and structures in place, I thought, how can I actually change this? I realized right there that you can't change the wind, but if you're on a boat, you can change the sails. So what I did is I decided if I was going to do anything to change at least where I could, not the world, just where I lived in some of the communities, that I could help to empower specifically women living in very difficult circumstances. But through my husband, I learned he was a doctor and a dentist, so I knew that there was much talent out there. I actually turned the problem into a solution itself. I actually went truly local. Everybody and every plan and every strategy and every rule in South Africa was at the national level. It was all legitimized at the national level. So I decided to turn that around. If I was going to gain knowledge of the values of those women and youth that I wanted to do a little bit to help, I would go truly local where nobody was, so that I could actually find what were the problems from the very people who had struggled through all of this and who were also dreaming now of this new free South Africa. So I went truly local. And then I also concentrated going truly local on finding out all the local knowledge in the township communities. Because it wasn't only the facts that I needed to find, it was the values. What in the new South Africa would people value? And the first thing that came up, because tourism and travel is a very big a cash cow, and it was sustaining many tourism industries in South Africa. So most of them living close to these tourism destinations said, you know what I want? I want to turn from a servant to a service. I want to be an enterprise. And please help. So once again, going truly local, I knew that we would then find all the problems which would be holding all these women back and the youth unemployed to turn themselves into an enterprise in a seriously protected industry. Once again, everything local. So we found all the solutions in all the problems, because all the problems were shared by the women. They didn't have their homes, they didn't have the knowledge, they didn't have the skills. They needed to transition from offering their service as a tour guide or as a cuisine or as accommodation to people that in the past they had only cleaned their hotels and the ablutions. So in all of this, we decided not to concentrate on with the women and the youth and the patriarchs in the community, not on what is out there right now, but what it could be. And at that very time, the UN Sustainable Goals were launched in 2000. I struggled for 10 years, I couldn't get it right. And then after those 10 years, going local, we had a new pluralistic model on how could Black tourism enterprises function in a sophisticated environment where people would need standards and they would need security, and like today with COVID, clean and green. And the Sustainable Development Goals offered all of that, all of it. Because what happened was that in all those goals, it was environmental integrity, leave no one behind, address exclusion, address social cohesion, and do it in an economically efficient way. So just looking at the UN goals meant that I had my plan that I could fit into those. So today, after all these years, we have many women empowered as Black tourism enterprises in South Africa across many different cultures, offering an incredible new South African experience. And incidentally, it is addressing all the goals. So that was my solution.
Okay, thank you so much, Anthea.